What's going on, everybody? Rip X from the world of Rip X, and as the Gemstone Deception is getting ready to come out November 16th, I figured it would be a cool deal for people that are just getting into it. I've actually had a nice handful of people that are playing the Gemstone Prophecy for the first time now because I'm putting the link while I'm promoting the Gemstone Deception. But there is a lot of story that happened before then and now. So you always see these YouTube videos on, freaking everything you need to know about Game of Thrones in 5 minutes. Well, I don't know how many minutes this is going to be, but I figure I just do a quick run through the mods that compose the Gemstone universe and the story so you'll be caught up and know what's going on. So the first one we're going to talk about is Rolance the Shire. Now, this is an important mod because this establishes the Shire race, which ends up being very, very important in the Gemstone universe. Rolance was my very first follower mod. And to cut a long story short, the people in her village were not allowed to use magic, the females. And she did. They found out about it. They killed her parents in front of her. She went ape crazy, had this inbred lightning power, and pretty much torched the entire village and killed everybody. And then she took off. That's her story. And that's where we're going to right now. So that's that. So the next mod, which isn't, I took it down. Whoa, not that one. Really, dude? This mod. Sorry. The Rolaren Paradox. And the cool thing about this mod, I thought, was because the storyline was there was a archer named Rolaren, which is this girl on the left. She lived in Norath, which is the world of EverQuest. She was attacked. Their village was attacked. The magician of the town made a portal for her to escape. While she was trying to go through the portal, the magician was killed, and she was thrown into kind of like a time-space purgatory. These other two girls, this is the really cool thing, were also Rolaren in two other parallel universes. And this thing happened in those universes as well. So they were all thrown in this flux and pretty much all dumped into Skyrim, which is cool. Now, what people don't understand, or what people need to understand, is this is important because Rolaren here ends up becoming Emerald, the Emerald Maiden from the Gemstone Prophecy. Rolaren here, which ended up becoming Rolana in the Five Rose, ends up becoming Sapphire. And Rolenity here ends up doing something that we can't talk about yet because we're not there yet. So that's there. So this is really to establish them in the universe. So after this, we're also introduced to Amethyst, Ruby, and then Emerald, which were created for me originally from another modder. And then I recreated them in the Gemstone Prophecy. Now, right around the Gemstone Prophecy, I wanted to kind of a prequel storyline kind of thing. So that's when I threw in the Lost Cavern of Prophecy. This stars a slightly redesigned Rolance, my first mod, and she goes out looking for the story of the Gemstone Prophecy, the last one, because it happens every 1,000 years. And she got some information that the Lost Cavern of Prophecy from thousands of years ago had been discovered. So she goes to discover it, and you go with her and discover it. So yay! So the previous prophecy that happens before the whole Amethyst, Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire is the one that we talk about in this mod. The old Diamond, Onyx, Citrine, and Topaz. And that kind of catches you up on some of that. Then, of course, it is time for the real deal, the Gemstone Prophecy. And the big deal about that is it's kind of like it's almost like I won't say the Avengers of the Gemstone universe because that's when everything kind of comes together in this. Gemstone Prophecy is the first part, Deception is the second part, and Unnamed mod is the third part. So the story of the Gemstone Prophecy is that every 1,000 years, Moloch Ball concentrates this evil, sinful mankind's energy that he's been collecting forever and creates a being of unimaginable power to destroy the world. And the divines, what they do is they in turn have enchanted several gemstones that they make magic armor and weapons out of, give them to these girls to give them powers, kind of like, And you get 8 gemstones, but you can only use 4 at a time, so you get 4 maidens at a time. So gemstone prophecy is sapphire, ruby, amethyst, and emerald, and that is their deal. Um, it's a big story. There's some twist in it at the end, so I don't want to do it, but hence to say, it's a fun mod. You get some stuff. They bow the forces evil. They win, so everything's cool. Yay! Okay. Then the Maidens of Prophecy happens, and that's basically um, Elisif from Solitude wants to celebrate the maidens for saving the earth, so they have a Day of the Maidens. The cool thing of this mod, of course, is you can see here, um, there's new hairstyles, and new armors for the maidens. It's really kind of a stopgap kind of mod. Some people wanted the maidens but didn't want the big gemstone prophecy mod with it, and so this is kind of just the maidens. Then we have Rolenity, the last sister of Norath. Now, if you remember what I said, Rolaren and Rolana became maidens. Rolenity, she's just still Rolenity, and what she is doing in this one, she is actually going to look for Ruby, because the way she understands it is Ruby has changed her 2 sisters and they are slaves, and she doesn't want any of that crap, so she's going to confront Ruby. And this takes you through that, and she actually goes and finds Diana, the queen of the vampires, and basically asks her to tell her where Ruby is so she can go take care of it. Then we have Blood Ruby, Maiden of Rage, and basically what that is after the prophecy and during the Day of the Maidens, Ruby is really disappointed in herself, and she's really angry because she feels like she wasn't strong enough. She wasn't strong enough, and she feels like she was stronger before. So she actually seeks out Diana of the vampires and basically says, "Hey, you made me what I was before. Can you do it again? Because I need to be powerful." And Diana says, "Well, whatever, whatever. I need you to do something for me," which is basically bring me the head of Relenity. So some things happen, craziness, and she gets her power. And unfortunately, now it's kind of driven her a little bit mad, and that's where we are at the Gemstone Deception. Ruby is missing. Luke Skywalker has vanished. No, but yeah. And then the last thing before is Jade right here. The only thing I really need to tell you about Jade is she is the very first maiden. Yeah, I know. How's the very first maiden still around? If it happens thousands of years, she should be super, super old, right? Well, nobody knows. But she's in charge of the island of the maidens. And you'll see the island of the maidens in the Gemstone Deception. Just realize that she is not all just prettiness, and she has a secret as well. So that really is the catch up. So I can tell you in the new uh, mod, Gemstone Deception, November 16th, you'll find the Diamond, Onyx, Citrine, and Topaz Maidens. You might see some of the maidens from the first Gemstone Prophecy. Um, who knows what other maidens you might see? But it's going to be really, really fun. It's going to be kind of a Matrix Reloaded, and I really hate to do that, but there's no way I can do this mod big enough. I kind of have to split it into 2 mods. So I, some people might get mad, but I like it because it kind of gets to a point or a super high tension point, and then it's like bam to be concluded, and you're like what? But then when Gemstone number 3 comes out, we're just going to kick a lot of butt, and it's going to be awesome. So that's it. Like I said, I am RipX. You can find me as The World of RipX on Nexus here, and you can feel free to check out all the cool mods that I've created for the Gemstone universe. And I hope you'll join me on November 16th for the launch of Gemstone Deception. So that's it. I'm RipX, and no matter what you do, make sure you rip.